friends, and welcome to today's class. For today, there are no props required, so whenever you have your space to flow, we're going to go ahead and meet in Tadasana, the back of the mat. And when coming into your space, as we do with most beginning poses, feel free to find whatever shimmies and shakes and sways, some weight shifts, anything you need to arrive onto your mat. Movements can be as big or as small as you need. Starting to ground down into the earth, finding a nice lift through the entirety of the body from this space, from the ground up. Maybe softening your eyes to a close as those sways become a little bit smaller and smaller. Arms come alongside your body, reaching those fingertips down towards the earth as the shoulders draw away from your ears and the crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Just feeling a little bit of energy build, some integration within the body. And in this strong and steady stance, take note of your breath, the pace, the depth of every inhale and exhale. Taking a new life and exhaling any negative or stuck energy that lingers within the body. Trying to create a nice clean slate for yourself for this practice. We're going to find some nice steady flow in today's class. So trying to keep, to the best of your ability, breath with movement. Trying to make it a nice rhythmic experience for you on your mat today. So within the next breath or so, go ahead and blink the eyes open. Reintegrate with that strong and steady stance. And on the next inhale, reach those arms up and overhead. Stretch the fingertips up towards the sky as you ground down through the soles of the feet. Grab hold of the left wrist and then reach from that left hip all the way over towards the right side of the room. Deep inhale, breathing into that left rib cage. Exhale, settling into that side body opener. Inhale back through center. Grab hold of that right wrist as you side body lean over towards the left. Open that right rib cage over towards the right side. Deep inhale, breathe into that space. Exhale, settle in, open up. Inhale up through center. And then exhale, hands come to the heart as you forward fold. As you find that fold, keep a soft bend in the knees as you lift the hips up towards the sky. Fingertips down to the earth. On the inhale, plant the fingers, draw the chest, the heart towards the top of the mat as the shoulders come down the back body, hips reaching back behind you. Exhale, find your fold. On your next inhale, walk the hands towards the top of the mat, pausing into a high plank and drawing the rib cage in toward you. Strong within the belly, lifted through the upper body. And now on the next inhale, drop the hips, lift through the belly, open up, upward facing dog. Stay tucked in the toes. Drawing the chest towards the top of the mat. And then on the exhale, engage through the belly, lift the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find a moment of stillness here in this space. I know we typically walk the dog a little bit in our first downward facing dog of class, but find strength in your stillness here in this space. As the heels draw to the earth, the hips lift towards the sky. And then go ahead, start to walk the hands back towards the feet, coming into your forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold.
Inhale, root to rise. Press through the soles of the feet. The knees straighten, the hips come forward, the shoulders roll back and down, the arms come up overhead. Grab hold of the right wrist. On the exhale, side body lean over towards the left side of the room. Keep that tailbone tucked underneath so your hips are stacked underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift towards center. Grab hold of the left wrist. On the exhale, side body lean over towards the right. Inhale back through center, reach up, lift up. Exhale, pull that energy into heart center, forward fold. Once those fingertips come down to the earth, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the hands, walk forward, high plank, strong and integrated. Inhale, upward facing dog, keep those toes tucked. Opening through the front body. And then on the exhale, close it off, downward facing dog. Go ahead and start to walk the hands back towards the feet, nice and slow. Find your forward fold. Inhale. Draw the collarbones nice and wide, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Round and ripple all the way to stand. Inhale, arms up overhead. Maybe gaze up between the fingertips. And on the exhale, maybe that gaze stays up as you drive the elbows towards your hips, back of the palm, back of the hands, back behind you. Open up, lift up. Inhale, reach up and overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms once more. Expand the chest. Inhale, pull it all in towards heart center. Exhale, fold. Hands come to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On the next inhale, plant the hands, walk them forward, high plank. Take a breath here. On your next inhale, keeping those toes tucked, hips fall, belly lifts, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Heels fall heavy, hips lift high. And then go ahead and step the left foot out, the right foot out. Maybe the hands come a little bit wider, so you're like in a big X marks the spot, a nice wide downward facing dog, keeping those hips lifted towards the sky. Just note the changes in sensation. And then slowly start to walk the hands back towards the feet, keeping those feet a little bit wider along the outer edges of the mat. And then click those toes out, heels come in. Drop the hips down between the thighs, coming into Malasana. And as you come into this space, feel free to shift your weight into the left foot to the right foot. Maybe coming forward into the toes and then back into the heels, whatever you need, just as we did when we came into Tadasana. And then on the next breath or so, settling into your Malasana, elbows come inside the knees, palms come together to touch, thumbs at heart center. Nice tall spine, crown of the head is up, tailbone reaching down towards the earth. Inhale to prepare. And on the exhale, hands come to the earth, toes click in front of the heels. Find a forward fold. On your next inhale, toes come out. Sit the hips low. Chest lifts. 2 more rounds. Exhale, toes come in front of the heels. Find your fold. Inhale. Open your stance. Sit those hips low, Malasana. Exhale. Toes in front of the heels. Forward fold. Inhale. Sit those hips low. Find your Malasana. Elbows inside the knees, hands back into heart center. Lifted spine. And go ahead and shift your weight forward, come into the hands, knees come down to the earth. And feel free to stay facing the top of your mat, or you can go ahead and face the long edge. We're going to come into bear sit. And when coming into this space, bring your stance nice and wide, just as you did in Malasana. Fingertips behind the hips, just to scoop those sit bones underneath you. Nice and long and lifted through the belly. Maybe start to draw those knees out and away from one another a little bit more, working through the inner thigh. And then from here, keeping the chest and the torso facing forward, just go ahead and windshield wiper the knees left to right. Working into a little bit of rotation within the hips. Moving at a pace that feels comfortable, feel free to linger as you'd like. And then once you feel like you've evened yourself out, come back into that bear sit. Nice open stance. Toes, pinky edge of the toe falling out. And then on your next breath, go ahead and drop everything over towards the left, coming into a 90-90. As you spin the torso over that left thigh, reach those right fingertips towards the back of the mat as you hinge over that left shin. Feel the stretch within the outer edge of that left hip. Inhale, come back up towards center, drive that right knee out and open. And then falling over towards the right side. Twist over that front knee, or that front thigh. Reach the left fingertips out in front of you, hinge at that hip. So you're trying to keep that right hip crease back in space. Inhale up through center, drive that left knee out and open. Exhale, fall. Reach and fold. Inhale up through center, open. Everything falls over to the right. Twist over that right thigh, reach and fold. That reach of the opposite arm just reminds me to keep a nice length within the body, within the spine as you hinge over that front leg. One more round each side. Reach and fold. Inhale back through center, and then exhale over that right side. Reach, lean, make yourself as long as you can. Inhale back through center. Find that bear sit. And then go ahead and drop everything over towards the left once more. But we were in 90-90 to start. We're going to come into deer pose now. So you're just going to cinch everything in towards each other. So the sole of that left foot is going to come to the top of the right thigh. And then right heel is just going to come a little bit closer towards your bottom. Find a breath here. And allow the top of that right foot to come down towards the mat a little bit more so, because we're going to bring the fingertips back behind that right hip. And then we're going to drive to the top of the feet, the shins, to lift those hips up and forward as we reach the left arm up and overhead. Exhale, sit the hips down towards the earth. Twist over that left thigh. So the left fingertips behind the left hip, right hand to the left knee. Twist away. Lifted through the belly. Then right fingertips come behind the right hip. Left arm sweeps up and overhead. Drive through the shins, the tops of the feet. Exhale, hips lower. Find your twist. Left fingertips behind the left hip. Right hand to left knee. Right fingertips come behind. Left arm up and overhead. Drive down. Lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, twist. Inhale, lift up nice and tall. Exhale, fall into your twist. On your next inhale, drive that right knee open. Come into a little mini bear sit. And then on the exhale, go ahead, come over to the right side, coming right into that deer pose. You should already be in a small shape. Make adjustments as you need.
Nice tall spine. And left fingertips behind left hip. Inhale, drive down, sweep up. Right arm up and overhead. Shine the heart towards the sky. Exhale, sink the hips low. Right fingertips behind the right hip, left hand, right knee. Twist. Inhale. Left fingertips behind left hip, lift and open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, twist towards the right side. Inhale, sweep and lift. Right arm up and overhead. Exhale, lower. Inhale, find length. Exhale, settle into your twist. Inhale back to face the front right leg. Inhale back through center. And find a few windshield wipers just left to right. Chest facing forward, wherever you're facing. Whether it's long edge of the mat, short edge of the mat. Find your center. Grab hold of those ankles. Pull the chest and heart nice and tall. And then go ahead and bring in one foot and then the other, coming into an easy seat. Hands on the knees, inhale, find your height. And on the exhale, walk the hands out in front of you, find a fold. Make it feel good. Don't overthink it. Just trying to find a nice anchoring within the sit bones and just moving away from this space. Go ahead and walk the hands back toward you. Go ahead and unravel the feet one at a time. Inhale, grab hold of the shins, tall spine. And then go ahead and switch your cross. Opposite side comes in first. Find a nice tall spine. Anchor down through the earth. Feel those sit bones root down. And then on the exhale, forward fold. Coming back into your breath as you settle in stillness. Walk those hands back up through center. And if you're facing the long edge of the mat, we're going to go ahead and face the front. So unravel out of your easy seat. Bring the knees together. So we're going to find our way into Hero's Pose or Virasana. So we're going to start by knees together, heels come away from one another, giving yourself some room to sit the hips between the heels. Now, if for whatever reason this is too intense on your knees, on your ankles, please remain in Vajrasana where your heels are supporting your seat. So you're in a nice lifted position. Even from this space, you can bring the fingertips beyond to find a nice hip opener. Just listen to your body. So if Hero's Pose is in your practice today, continue to move into that space. So get yourself nice and comfy, nestle in. Hips between the heels. Start with a nice tall seat. And feel free to stay here, or you can start to recline yourself a little bit at a time. So maybe bring the hands a little bit further behind you, allowing yourself to drop down on elbows, on forearms. And you can stay here, or you can continue to lower, coming onto elbows to bring yourself onto the upper arm, the back, and resting into this space. And if you're in fully reclined heroes, you can grab opposite elbows up and overhead for a full front body opener. Pausing at any part of the journey that feels good for you.
2 more breaths here in this space. And if you are in the full expression, this position can get a little intense at moments. So challenge yourself to keep a nice depth to the breath, to maintain that sense of calm in the body and the mind. On your next breath or so, start to make your way out of this position. So getting those elbows underneath you, the forearms underneath you, and then eventually walking the fingertips up. Bring yourself upright. And then go ahead and tuck those toes. Sit the hips back, lift the knees, come into a malasana. Shimmy side to side. And take your time getting out of that. Being on the tops of your feet, having the ankles in such an open position can feel intense. And on the exhale, plant the hands, heels behind the toes. Come out of those knees, forward fold. Feel free to sway side to side, forward and back. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice long back body. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Nice and slow. Unravel yourself all the way up to stand. Arms reach up last. Exhale, cactus the elbows. Lift the chest, the heart. Inhale, pull it all into heart center. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down to the earth. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. On the inhale, you're probably somewhere in the middle of your mat if you didn't adjust, but you're going to find your way into that high plank for a breath. And on the inhale, staying on those toes, drop the hips, lift through the low belly as the chest, the heart reaches towards the top of the mat. Staying strong within the heel, the hands keeping your body lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, finding stillness, letting those heels fall heavy toward the mat as the hips lift up towards the sky, using the strength within your upper body to keep the lift of the hips. Drop the knees. Untuck the toes, child's pose. Start to walk the hands back toward your knees. Bring the knees parallel to one another. The thighs, the shins, the whole lower body parallel to one another so you find your way into Vajrasana. Backs of the hands rest onto the thighs, palms up towards the sky. And in this space, goodness, feel free to close your eyes. And come back to your breath once more. Maybe with movement, moving with the breath, we're able to find a deeper capacity, a little bit more expansion within the lungs, the rib cage. Maybe you notice you're able to take a deeper, fuller breath now at the end of class versus when we first arrived. Or maybe it's not a physical change, maybe it's just a greater awareness to the body, to the breath. So you're able to find a greater capacity in that way. We would allow the palms to remain facing
out and away from you, receiving all the good energy that you created in your environment through today's practice. Here is where I'm going to leave you today, so feel free to stay in Vajrasana if that feels good for you, unless you would like to transition to Shavasana for your final rest. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. It's such a pleasure to be your guide during today's flow. If you like practicing with me, please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my new postings. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.